It's me, Zenobia Darling. You're listening to #RockstarLife, the Coffee Break podcast. Let's go. Where the hell's my cold brew at?
All right, post-edit Zenobia here, guys. So this is part 2 of my coffee break with Evita. I work with her. She's amazing. So if you guys have it, go back and listen to last week's episode where we talk about South Africa and just like apartheid and just, systematic racism. And we have a really good conversation in part 1. In part 2, we dive into Wendy Williams. We dive into pop culture, just everything. This was such a good coffee break, guys. So hope you enjoy. That's horrible.
They have Wendy's cameraman.
Yes. I'm like,
Wendy will be, I'll never forget that episode. I don't know if it was Halloween and somebody was wearing a mask and the cameraman zoomed into the person's face and Wendy was just like, James, what was that?
Oh, God. Yes.
Like, James, what was that?
Oh, God, I miss Wendy. Well, the Halloween Wendy's, like, that's when she fainted.
Oh, I remember that. God. Oh, people hated her.
Wendy, I used to listen to Wendy on the radio.
But nobody hated.
Let's get into it because I got a whole notes here and I'm like, let's get into Wendy. Let's just get into Wendy. Here we are, an hour and 15 minutes in.
Oh, Lord.
I'm breaking this up into 2 episodes, so this will be episode 2. But let's get into Wendy Williams.
Before we start, I want to preface this by saying you never appreciate what you have until it's gone.
Yes.
Because
yes,
when Wendy was very much still on TV, oh, Wendy is so mean. And this is not to say that she couldn't have handled certain things better.
Well, I mean, it's Wendy.
But it is Wendy Williams, and this is what her show is about. But to a certain degree, she did have a level of professionalism.
Yes.
So if people can watch Charlemagne 8 a.m. in the morning, you can handle Wendy Williams.
Yeah.
So I remember people would hate her. They would send her, it's just so much hate. As soon as she got sick, now all of a sudden, oh my gosh, Wendy Williams would love this. Where's Wendy Williams when you need her?
Where's Wendy? When Diddy got arrested, you're like, where's Wendy?
Oh, it's been... Man, I do miss her on air. She would give it to them how it was. Whitney.
Oh God, her talk about Whitney. Her you can do this on YouTube now. Go and watch Wendy talk shit about Mariah Carey. There is literally I think there's 3 videos, at least 2 hours long, of all the times Wendy was talking about Mariah Carey, and it'd be dumb stuff like, oh, listen to this Ariana Grande interview. See if you catch the shade. And they asked her about Mariah Carey, and she's like, well, I definitely have a younger fan base. And Mariah's like, you could tell Mariah tweeted something about it because that stirred her tiki tiki boom boom. And Wendy was like, catch the shade. Yeah, that's it, Mariah. I'm like, girl.
I would never forget when she was talking about Beyonce having a baby when Beyonce was pregnant with Ivy. God. She was like...
Or the whole Solange fight with Jay-Z in the Standard Hotel elevator.
She just said something so unhinged.
Ooh.
The announcement is supposed to be Beyonce's pregnant, right? It's something like, now it's another thing that Beyonce has that Kim Kardashian can't have. A successful husband, a successful career, and a baby. And it's just like... and a baby. And it's just like, congratulations, Beyonce.
God. Wendy, there's no Wendy is the best. She's the absolute best, always has been, always will be. But today it is what? It is Thursday, January 16th. So this episode will come out in a few weeks, but she came on the Breakfast Club with that hottie daddy Charlemagne.
You think Charlemagne is so fine?
He is.
It's taking me out.
He is hot. I love it when he goes on The View and gives it to Sunny Hostin. I don't like Sunny Hostin. I'm like, come for her, daddy.
Oh, you know what? That's one thing I appreciate about him. He will go on another... I don't know if it was a sports show or a news show that they brought him on talking about the election. And he was basically just telling them how it was. I think they cut his set early. Yeah. But... he was open about about Joe Biden and all of it. Yeah, I mean, if you're asking somebody their opinion, how they are as a citizen in the country, and how they perceive it, you can't be mad.
And he's from radio, and he was wasn't he Wendy's intern?
You're the one that told me that.
I know he worked with Wendy back in the radio days.
Wendy's intern, 20 years. He grew up under her when she still had the radio show, but they ran him out of New York.
Of course they did.
Or
they
was
ran
it Wendy?
Wendy out of New
It
York.
was Wendy that they ran out of New York.
Yeah, it was Diddy who ran. Yeah, it was Diddy.
Really?
And I think it was something with Bill Cosby too. Because this is the thing about Bill Cosby. That was an open secret. Everyone knew. I remember I knew about it. Janice Dickinson from America's Next Top Model, she wrote a book in like 2006 called No Lifeguard on Duty. It was her autobiography. And there was a chapter in there where she was talking about a well-known comedian and kind of a dad figure who drugged and raped her. And I remember the book was supposed to come out a year before it did, and there was a whole thing with the publisher being sued by. It was all, they never said who sued her. She wouldn't talk about it. And I remember there was one interview she did. I think it was like in Europe though, and she didn't say Bill Cosby, but she made a comment. She goes, "I've been raped by someone who, when people find out the actual depravity that this person has, it's gonna be through the roof."
Somebody on a show working with children,
yeah. And like that's how I knew about it, and then it makes sense. And then now Janice is actually talking about it. I'm like, she talked about it in her book.
I think, but even R. Kelly was an open secret.
Yeah,
at least.
And Wendy would talk about it
in the Black community. Though it was like, well, before it became mainstream, in the Black community, it was pretty well known.
Yeah,
or at least a pretty well known rumor.
Yeah.
Like, R. Kelly's doing this to kids. Well, how do you know? And how dare you say? And
let me listen to you. Let me listen to his music.
Like,
trapped in a closet,
like protesting.
Yeah,
like they made a Boondocks episode about it. Like protesting this man going outside of, like, he's coming out of the courts. Like, you guys are outside. We love you. What type of sickness is this? And then Wendy says something.
Gross.
Wendy was like, "Oh well, I'm going to talk about this, and you're coming for her."
Yeah, but she was right about everything. She was right about the Diddy stuff back in the day. She was right about Mariah being, and all the stuff with Tommy Mottola. She was
Tommy Mottola.
That whole thing. I mean, she talked about
That's
it.
Another
She was
devil.
right about R. Kelly. She was right about Bill Cosby.
She's right about Jay-Z.
Yes, she's right about Jay-Z.
To be determined.
Yes, and it's like, if you really listen to it, and today did you watch the interview?
I did watch the interview.
Yeah, but I mean, it's horrible what's going on with her. It's absolutely horrible. The woman clearly, like, and I to me, it sounded like she's someone that needs to talk. She needs to talk and be around people and talk about her stuff and talk pop culture. She needs to be either on radio, give her a microphone, like a podcast setup like this, give her the podcast. She needs to be on there. She needs to be talking. And she hadn't done it in a while. And you could tell she missed it.
But they said she's basically in a luxury prison.
Yes.
They won't let family or friends come visit her.
Which is bullshit.
They won't let people call her.
Yeah.
They said the calls have to come from the inside out. When I listened to the interview, I'm like, she's talking coherent sentences.
Yes.
Every time I've seen Wendy in the past last year, it's like, oh, she's deteriorating.
Yeah.
Or maybe she has Graves'
Well,
disease.
it's the same thing as like Britney Spears. It's crazy to me. And you watch that documentary and it's like, yeah, like let's also not forget that, yes, she might have some mental health issues. She's also an addict. And she was drinking.
And she just came out of a horrible marriage.
Yeah, she just came out of a horrible marriage. You know, her talk show and all that, the stuff with that, it was canceled and whatnot. I mean,
you know what I think about that?
She also was drinking.
Yeah. You know what I think about that?
She was drunk a few times on air.
Yeah.
Which hey, have at it. Wendy drunk, I will take Wendy drunk because this is the thing about Wendy. I think her drunk is still going to be Wendy Williams and it's still going to be compelling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, let's just see it all.
There was a theory that said she's not doing that show because of the way the divorce panned out. If she does the show, she has to give a percentage to Kevin.
Yes.
And so...
because he was an executive producer of the show.
Oh, he can go straight to hell.
He's disgusting. Him and
his side chick.
Yeah.
They can both go straight to hell.
They had a baby. And I love the Wendy movie that they had on Lifetime because you see where she did a bunch of... she's like spray painted like whore on the house that... it was her money that bought it. And then she went on The View and she's like, I'm not doing Pampers. I'm like...
What's she doing on The View?
She would always go on The View and, Whoopi Goldberg would act like, she's her best friend. Bullshit. Like,
it's like when Jocelyn Hernandez was on The Real.
Oh, God. Well, wasn't Wendy and Jocelyn got into it on air?
What?
They got into it on air, I'm pretty sure. Wendy has famously got into, maybe it was one of the Love and Hip Hop divas.
Maybe it's better to ask who hasn't Wendy Williams spoken about.
I remember it was during the pandemic, and I think Jocelyn was on a screen, and like Wendy was like, "For God's sake, let's plug the book. Then here's the book." Like I think it was Jocelyn, because Jocelyn was like, "You've been mean." Oh yeah,
Jocelyn Hernandez wrote a book.
It was one of them.
Okay,
it was one of the Love and Hip Hop people.
Okay. But
Which and then Wendy was like, "You're on a VH1 reality show. Don't come for me."
I miss VH1 too.
Yeah,
I miss VH1.
I do miss it.
Yeah.
I miss Rock of Love.
I think the only thing with Jocelyn is that sometimes on The Real, she'd be the only person telling the truth.
Yes,
she would be the only. She would be the only. They would let Jeannie Mai get up there and talk out of her ass. Excuse my French, but they would let Jeannie Mai get up there and just say whatever the hell without correcting her. And oh my God, I love Jeannie Mai when she was on E doing, what was that fashion show? The one where the clothes would go up the tube. What was it called?
Oh God, exactly. Yeah. It wasn't What Not to Wear. It was the other one. Yeah.
I love Jeannie Mai in that because we didn't see her personality. But on The Real, I didn't. I always got.
It was kind of.
She would always say stuff, and you could see none of her co-stars said anything to her backstage.
Well, I think also they're just like, let's let this sink. Let's let this ship sink.
She would say some stuff that's like, girl, this is
Well,
kind of
Wendy
great.
had some remember her and Omarosa? Wendy gave it to her. Gave it to her.
I have an opinion about Omarosa.
Okay.
I'm not going to say I like Omarosa. I'm going to say that Omarosa can read.
She can. Oh, no. New York. Did you see that House of Villains where New York was like, I think you're a cum-guzzling, cock-sucking Republican
I saw that. I'm not going to say I like Omarosa. Not at all. But Lord, I appreciate an intelligent woman. I do have an appreciation for an intelligent that can read somebody. Okay, now.
Yeah.
That's what I think. That's what
Omarosa just looks like she's a bitch.
Yeah, I think that's who Candace Owens thinks that she is.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Which I.
That's a whole.
But no one can be Wendy. Sherry Shepherd's not Wendy.
No,
she's not. So, what are your favorite like Wendy Williams moments?
The one. Okay, there was. Oh God, I just saved a compilation. I like the Whitney one. A lot of people think I don't know that one, but I listened to it.
Oh, where she was like crying?
No, the one where Whitney Houston was.
Where she radio interview.
The radio interview when.
And Wendy was like.
Wendy.
Yeah, and Wendy was like, you fucking talk about me all the time. And then I remember Wendy was like, so Whitney, like, what do you tell Bobby Christina? And Wendy was like, well, I tell her the truth because she ain't no fucking retard. I was like, oh my God, Whitney, like. What the hell?
And the thing is that she will sit there enjoying riling these people up. Like she gets...
Like she was... Because she knew she's like, I'm making good radio right now.
Whitney joined that call pissed off. She joined that call pissed the hell off.
Yeah, she's like, because you constantly talk about me, Whitney, or Wendy.
Like... And so I like that moment. I told you I like the one where Beyonce was pregnant and she was just like, now Beyonce has everything Kim doesn't have: an actual successful husband, a thriving career, and a baby. It's the way she said it. God. I was like, can't you just say congratulations and move on?
No, it's Wendy. Her Mariah Carey was good because Mariah was like, Mariah, did you get your boobs done? She's like, no, but how's your liposuction? Because they just went back and Wendy's like, I'm signing up. Let's go. Let's play ball. Because Mariah was giving it back to her. She was like, what the liposuction? She's like, well, your nose looks different. And then like Mariah was like, well, maybe it is, but maybe I've just got aged gracefully. How's your Botox? Like they were like shading each other so bad.
What other interview question?
Yes. Because you know, Wendy doesn't care. God.
She doesn't. I think she's heard it all though. At that point in time, doing journalism, and I am going to call it journalism.
She has a broadcast degree, like a journalism degree.
More than reality TV, that's more journalism than we get today from some journalistic sites. And so when you're doing journalism in that specific way, talking specifically about pop culture and powerful celebrities, and it's not like you're talking in a detached space. Yeah. She knows these people.
Yeah.
When you're doing that, like, what can anybody say that can hurt you?
Well, she's almost like a comic in that way.
They
like
ran her out of New York.
She's not afraid to call it out. She's not afraid to have that uncomfortable conversation.
And she would be the only one at that time and now that would be doing it. She would be the only one. It would be like, yeah, maybe there are a few people who know and they would call it out, but everybody would just be like, well, I might know, but as long as I'm not involved. That's why it took so long for the Harvey Weinstein stuff to come out. Yeah. People knew.
Everyone knew. But you can go back on the radio when Wendy was talking about Diddy back then.
Yeah.
But then Diddy came on the Wendy show, and you could tell Wendy was saving face, like, oh, look how much we've grown. And you could tell Wendy's like, don't fuck with me, Diddy. Don't fuck with me, Sean. Scene.
I've never liked him.
I've never liked him either.
His interviews, and he was a big celebrity. Like,
yes.
Diddy transcended. I think
I've never liked Ciroc vodka. I thought it was tasted cheap.
Oh, he did. He is now. There's this whole thing with Ciroc, a lawsuit that was going on. I don't know. I haven't read.
Well, it's not in his company, and it's not in his. I mean,
but I knew
Wendy did. Charlemagne did ask her. She said, "What?" I did ask her, and she did comment. She said, "Well, P. Diddy's going to be in jail for life. We've been saying that for years." At the very end of the interview, Charlemagne did lob her that question, and Wendy delivered.
She must be getting the long-term lifetime satisfaction.
I think she is too.
Like,
I think she's sitting back. I mean, I think once she gets out of this luxury prison, I think once she gets out of this conservatorship, like, because I do think she'll be out of it. And I mean, they really are.
Hopefully.
And I think with all the people talking about it, her making the media appear, I mean, I definitely think her phone privilege are going to be yanked after today. Because she also went on Don Lemon's show, who, don't get me started on Don Lemon, because he's a shiftless tool.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I definitely think that Sabrina Morrissey lady,
who even is that?
her guardianship, it's on. It's on.
Who even is that? For Wendy, and this is why I have to give it, Wendy is a genius.
She's the best.
They gave her phone privileges, right? They've been making it seem for a year, 2 years now, that Wendy's incapacitated, completely
She's
unable
not.
to look up after
and
herself.
she really wasn't on the
Deteriorating.
documentary. And it's one of those things where it's like, I've been around a lot of alcoholism. I like to drink also. I know when someone is just been drinking too much, and when someone has dementia and they forget stuff. I think Wendy she was chugging vodka out of the bottle, chain smoking a vape. Like, you know, like, she's going to be, and you kind of, she's older. She does have some early, like, health issues. I don't think it was as bad as they were making it out to be. And I think once she got sober, I think once she kind of dried out, started taking care of herself again, I don't think she has something that's going to permanently incapacitate her.
And so, and that's the part where I say she's a genius. To get on the phone, she said, I have these phone privileges. I have to make an impact.
Well, the way
who does she call? Charlemagne.
Yep.
No.
Well, no, she calls her daughter, her niece, who works in Miami, like daytime TV, like the news. Yeah, she's smart. She's all the connections because she's also media trained because she was on The View. She was on there. So that's where she's there. So they're really calling into the niece, and then Wendy's calling the niece and then three-waying.
And Charlemagne opened up by saying Wendy is in a conservatorship she shouldn't be in. Basically, he
just like Britney.
What happened to Britney is tragic though.
Yeah. Well, Britney also.
But
Britney also is mentally ill. I mean, let's not.
But I don't blame. I feel like this is why I told you about Brandy earlier when I said I'm more lenient towards child actors.
Yeah.
Because God knows what they saw. Especially Britney.
Did you watch that movie on Lou Pearlman, the dude who did NSYNC and Backstreet Boys?
No, I didn't.
Britney showed up in that one, and you're like, Britney was involved in that. I'm sure the shit Britney's had to see in the late 90s trying to make it as Britney fucking Spears. Plus, like, she is that horrible dad, her horrible fucked up family. That Cindy Lou Hoo-Ha, whatever her name is. Like
Jamie Lynn.
Oh, yeah, Jamie Lynn. Oh, whatever her name is. God.
That's why I'm like, I'm more leaning towards child actors.
Yes.
Disney, Nickelodeon child actors.
Oh, it's all coming out. You got that Dan Schneider bullshit.
And then being that in 2025, I'm sure it all hasn't gone, but I think it's much better because at least like people are aware.
Yeah.
I'm sure people were aware then, but people are scared. Like, it's the 90s, it's the 2000s. Do we even have laws that go this far to cover and protect? Like, and so you're talking that Dan Schneider stuff is dark. So I don't blame her. Being a child star in Disney, she had that. She went through that same thing. Justin Timberlake, I don't like him, but
I don't like him either.
She went through that same thing that he had to go through, and all the other Disney child stars.
Yeah,
her sister was on Zoe 101. That's Nickelodeon.
Like, oh god, don't get me started on
Nickelodeon had Dan Schneider, but then Nickelodeon also had Amanda Bynes. And they had the Amanda
Did you catch her? Like, Amanda Bynes has been TikToking.
Yes.
And like, I'm literally like, that's a dark, scary one because I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, it's bad.
They had the Amanda show, and I loved the Amanda show.
I did too.
She was a personality.
You watch it now and you're
creative.
like, but you go back and watch like Easy A or any of those movies she was in before like she went away. And, I mean, because it was the whole like, I want Drake to murder my pussy and then throwing her bong outside of her skyscraper apartment. It was right before that. But now you see her and you're like, what? Like,
is she even here with us?
I don't think she's here. And like it's not even like we'll just play some of her because like I was even doing this like last night on TikTok because I follow her.
TikTok has 30 minutes, yo.
I know.
They're about to snatch it up out of here.
They're
about to snatch it up out. If Donald Trump can do one thing,
she's not on it now anymore.
Isn't she? Is she on Instagram?
Amanda Bynes is not coming up on TikTok.
Is she on Instagram?
I don't know. It was because it was one of those things that like randomly popped up. But like she has, and she's like, how do you guys like my hair like this?
I saw that.
I might dye it blonde with black accents. And I'm like, you are fucking media trained. You're one of the greatest actors.
No,
like,
she's been like that for a while.
I'm like, that's scary to me.
She's been like that for a while. She'll be like, hi guys. I think I'm going to do a cosmetology course now.
Yes.
And she's speaking like this.
And then she did a podcast, one episode with a guy who murdered a dog, but was trans. So people, it's like, I always love that thing where like, these people
they do horrible stuff, but you know,
who are acting like all trans people are like moral, upstanding citizens because they're trans. And I'm like, it's a spectrum. I've met some really horrible trans people, and I met some really amazing trans people.
Just
like,
who are you as a person?
But like, it was like her doing that, and then all that shit came out, and then she's like, "So I might record new episodes, but I might not. I might get back together. I'm trying to quit smoking." And I'm like, girl, what?
And that's genuinely how she talks.
Yes,
I don't know what
and
they
it's
did to
sad.
her.
But then like every few months you'll hear like, oh my God, she had an episode. Then she was found naked wandering around like, Figueroa Street in LA.
The same. Okay, so I told you that I follow stuff and I follow it very closely. And so when the Harvey Weinstein stuff started coming out, they were like, guess who Nickelodeon just fired quietly? Not fired.
Dan Snyder.
Not fired, but it's the same thing when a cop gets in trouble.
Yep. It was one of those
And they
things of
just
like
give
the
you paid
contract
leave.
wasn't renewed.
Yeah.
We knew what it was.
But paid $5 million. You fired him, but you gave him $5 million severance.
But then
pay.
like then you see that whole thing and you see the stuff with Drake Bell who like also Drake Bell like
He's a horrible, he
I'm not
sexually assaulted
saying
somebody.
I'm not saying he wouldn't go through all that trauma. He's not a saint either.
No.
And it's one of those things, if you really look at his backstory, you're like, wait a minute. And like, I think part of that was the trauma he did experience. But at the same time, I'm like, what he did to that girl and then the way he handled it in court was disgusting.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know we've been talking for like 2 hours. We've been talking for about 2 hours, girl.
Is it possible to pause this and we continue it?
Yeah. I gotta pee anyway.
Okay,
So.
okay.
All right, ad break. I gotta pay for all this damn coffee I'm drinking and tea I'm spilling. What's up, art lovers? It's me, Zenobia Darling. Did you know I'm more than just a drag rock star? I'm also a very accomplished painter, photographer, and you can check it all out on ZenobiaDarlingCreative.com. Sponsored by the Harford County Cultural Arts Board, my blog, #RockstarLife, the arts blog. It explores all my creativity right when it crashes into local culture. Explore my neo-expressionistic fine art, my editorialized goth photography. And this is the best part. You can buy my original paintings and you can spruce up your boring-ass walls because every wall needs some glittering Zenobia Darling on them. So go check out Zenobia Darling Creative. The link is in the episode description. Ooh, what's up, Glamazons? It's Zenobia Darling. And you know my rock stardust doesn't just happen, right? It's crafted to perfection at Odyssey Salon and Day Spa in Aberdeen. Let me spill my secret. Abby, my badass stylist, is the mastermind behind my iconic glittering blonde mohawk. Whether you want to spike it up, smooth it out, dye it a killer shade, or just add that extra edge to your hair, the crew at Odyssey have the magic to make you feel like the superstar you truly are. And it's not just about hair. They keep my nails sharp, my skin polished, and every visit is an absolute blast. And here's the best part, my darlings. Odyssey isn't just about looking fierce. It is a safe space where us LGBT folks can feel right at home, shining as our truest selves. So if you're ready to live your own #Rockstar life and embrace your creative spirit, get yourself to Odyssey Salon and Day Spa in Aberdeen. Tell them Zenobia sent you and show the world how fabulous us rock stars look. And you never know, you might run into yours truly. The link to book your visit to unlock your fabulosity is in the episode description. Hey there, ghost-loving rebels. It's Zenobia Darling, your paranormal punk rock queen. We premiered my newest art film, Ethereal Anarchy, Zenobia Darling's Haunted Revolution, on November 1st with my opening reception of my immersive art exhibition, The Paranormal Realm Beyond the Lore. Let me tell you, part one of this film captured one of the most profound paranormal experiences I've ever had. And it was met with roaring applause and accolades. And yes, we filmed it in true punk rock fashion to bring you even more content. But Huns, the revolution is just getting started, and we need you to bring part 2 to life. We have so much more content from part 1 that we want to include. Plus, we're actively filming for part 2. So we're pushing paranormal storytelling to the edge in true aspirational punk rock fashion. Your support fuels every haunting moment of this journey. From ghost hunting gear to fair crew pay, every dollar you contribute keeps things spooky and queer just the way it should be. Join the Haunted Revolution. You can find the link to our GoFundMe in the episode description and help us raise the dead and the funds. All right. Okay, bathroom break. So, I mean, we've been talking, this is like, what, going on like 2 hours,
Yeah.
so.
No, literally.
All right, well, we were talking about Wendy Williams. So, do you have any final thoughts on Wendy Williams?
I'm glad to see, listen, at first I thought she can be rehabilitated. Maybe she just needs a break. It's all the stuff with her ex-husband. And then all the stuff that was coming out, I was like, oh God, we're never going to see Wendy again. But I am really glad to see that was all orchestrated. Mm-hmm. It's a bad thing, but it's a good thing. But it means Wendy's still there. Yeah. Hearing her, Charlemagne, they were very clear on the Breakfast Club. Like, Wendy is not incapacitated.
She's not.
She's still in her right mind.
That voice that I heard this morning from the radio, I was like, I could hear that on, Hot 95 right now. I could hear that on, the Wendy Williams show. Mm-hmm.
Them going.
Put her on the damn View.
Might as well. Them actually going in person to go visit her and telling what happened. Oh, I'm glad that people are standing behind her because that's what it felt like. It felt like everybody abandoned her. Yeah. And that's why it's easy to get into conservatorship.
Yeah.
Like, with Britney.
And it's a broken system. Yeah.
With Britney, it was her own family.
Well, so Britney, that whole thing, that makes me sad. I mean, I'm one of those people, I'm guilty. Like, I've seen Trainwreck Britney. I've seen Britney at her height. I love Trainwreck Britney. It's the best. But like, it's so, now knowing what I know, it's so, and being a performer, I know what it's like to be forced to perform when you don't feel like it, and you're struggling to put that face on. Like, ooh, I know that. I was watching a few of them like on videos, and I was like, I just can't do this because I can see the pain in her face, and I can see her doing it.
And
I'm
she
like,
has kids.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Her fucking kids, because and K-Fed now that they're 18, she got to pay child support. Yeah, they're running their damn mouths about her. I'm like, shut your fucking mouth. Stop talking bad about your damn mother.
Yeah,
it's sad.
It is sad.
It's sad,
and I feel like there are so many victims to the industry, so many victims to things.
Yeah.
There's no like who just spoke about it? Keke Palmer just said,
oh yeah,
what is it called?
SAG-AFTRA, yeah,
SAG-AFTRA.
Screen Actors Guild.
It's not like they have like an HR department.
They don't.
Like,
but this is the other thing. I talked about this before with one of my comic friends, Stoney. The thing that no one talks about when it comes to Harvey Weinstein and all this stuff is just the horror economy of LA, how these people, the thing they're not talking about, yes, I'm not saying they didn't sexually abuse people, they didn't abuse their power, but how many people willingly slept with that person or blew that person to get the role.
Right.
And I wish people were more open about that. That's why I like Stormy Daniels, because Stormy Daniels, being the porn star she is like, yeah, I fucked him. Ew. And it's stuff like that where I'm like, I wish more people would be like, yeah, I sucked Harvey Weinstein's dick to get cast in this role.
It's bad publicity.
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
No, there isn't.
But still, I just
some
wish...
people don't want to be...
But if people would openly talk about it and say, I think that's what people need, because there's something that's being very phony and they're not touching on it.
If you are an actress and you know that you're seen in a certain light, actor or actress, and you know that people see you in a certain light, and this is... We don't really know these people, right? It's like you are in the industry and then you see some stuff and you tell me some stuff and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You would never know. But
then the thing is, but
that's a curated image.
Yes.
If your curated image and you come down and tell us,
I miss Susie Humble, who's never had sex in my life.
And to get this role, I had to sleep with this scumbag and this scumbag.
I went to a
hotel. Your fans are going to start looking at you like, oh.
But at the same time, like someone like me is going to be like, okay, you're being authentic. I like you. You have more. I have respect for you.
But then it all just falls like this.
Like who is it? Penelope? What's her name? Penelope Cruz? I forget her. Penelope?
Penelope Cruz.
Oh, like, you know, because there's rumors that this is all allegedly I heard this from a drunk queen at a bar. I've heard that she willingly went up to Harvey Weinstein's hotel room, sucked his dick, and got that role of Frida Kahlo.
Really?
I've heard that. And it's like one of those things where you know she would never admit to it.
I believe it.
But the thing is, though, is this is the thing about, this is when the Me Too came out, and this is something that, like, because you're still the sexual assault victim. You still are a victim of the abuse of power.
That is true.
Talk about it. Yes, it can be re-traumatizing, but like you need to say, yeah, I wanted to be a star so badly that I did it. And I'm not proud of it, but I sucked his dick and I got a role and it started my career. That is my truth. Just own it, because you're gonna have so many people be like, I have respect for you because you openly committed
but
to it.
I actually think that I think that people don't do it. That part of
people
like
are
people
are
goes so
dumb.
much further. How many? But then we have to start saying, leave the people that are doing sexual favors for people. What about the people that pay? I'm pretty sure, allegedly, nobody come for me, Taylor Swift has like bought farms in the middle of an island somewhere, streaming her music.
100%.
This is not me being a hater.
100%.
This is not me being a hater.
I don't like Taylor Swift. I'll be honest.
I grew up liking her when she was her little country bumpkin girl.
She's not a country bumpkin anymore. Well, that's the whole thing with the whole thing with like Kim and Kanye. Like, I'm like, girl, and I'm like, you know what?
We have to have an episode to talk about Kanye.
Oh,
we do.
Kanye's every time I see a Tesla truck, I'm like, there's Kanye West in a car form.
We have to talk about his wife Bianca and like Kanye. You have to.
Oh, it's nuts.
But
it's
my
nuts.
thing
but
is, like,
it's one of those things where I'm like, I think she was pissed because she got exposed for who she is.
Bianca.
No, Taylor.
Oh, Taylor. Oh.
And it's like, yeah, Taylor, you are not that goody two-shoe princess that you make it out to be. Yeah, you're crazy,
Part
but
of it is white privilege.
That too.
And like it's a whole.
That too.
Like she's blonde hair, blue eyed, like tall. She's not that. I'm not saying
she's in love with a something, blah, blah, blah.
Like it's girl next door music.
Yeah.
And she played that image for a while, but then after a while, it's like, girl, you're 32.
Yes.
But her fans don't see past that.
And you fucked how many men in Hollywood?
Her dad and her parents are some rich.
Yes. Yes. The privilege, the everything. It's crazy to me. It's so crazy to me. And that's why I'm and like, I don't hear good stories about Taylor Swift. I don't.
I don't think
I heard she's a mean girl who's stuck in high school.
Yeah.
And it makes sense because being famous, and when you get famous is a traumatizing event, and it stunts you at the age you were famous. I don't think she is. I mean, she writes her own music, but like I saw I see that look you're giving me.
At a point.
But the same thing, like I saw the Eras tour, and I mean, I didn't see it live. I'm not doing that. But like, I'm just kind of like,
like, would you pay $300 to go watch?
You paid a lot of money for theatrical value. I see that in that, but like you're
and it's not even coming from her. It's coming from the like.
Yes, my thing is like Lady Gaga, Madonna. They're fucking like they're bringing in the theater of being a pop star and performing pop music. Taylor Swift doesn't have that. And that's what bothers me.
Yeah. There are some people that just have it. They just got it.
No, it's like go back and write your like weird tortured love poems, you know, petting your cat in Rhode Island.
Like, what it gets to a point. She played out like there was a time I would say she was very smart. We were all young and stupid. You're writing about like, oh, he broke up with me. Like we can relate to this music, teenage love. But it's like, girl, you're 32. How long are you going to keep writing this on?
Exactly.
It's like, I haven't heard a good thing about
you fucked Jake Gyllenhaal, wrote a song. Fucked John Mayer, wrote a song about it.
And then the thing is that her fans then will try and ruin this person's career. Oh my God, they were attacking Jake Gyllenhaal for no reason.
Yes, and then it's like you're writing songs as a 28-year-old woman. What is it? Miss Americana, the Heartbreak Band. The whole school is rolling fake dice. I'm like, why are you writing about your high school experience when you're 20? You couldn't pay me to go back to my high school experience.
I'm telling you.
You couldn't pay me.
I'd rather
like
eat my braids.
Yes. I'm like, no, and not only that, like, I'm not gonna make art like that.
So, is she an artist though, or is she just somebody that can write music?
I think she has an artistic ability, but I think it's more. I think she's aware of her image. I think she definitely has the craziness of an artist for sure.
Oh yeah, okay. Reminds me of my art teacher.
Yeah, I just don't like. I don't know. I don't think she has that performing ability. I mean, yeah, she's performing 3 hours live singing. That's not no easy feat. But at the same time, I'm just like, girl, like I'm over it. Like I've never been a Taylor stan.
I think the difference is it's good. It's one thing to grow up with somebody and like, oh yeah, I go to their show because I like them, but actually seeing an actual talented person perform.
Go see Lady Gaga perform and then go see Taylor Swift perform. You will see a difference.
Even pop stars, right? Broadway, right? I'm gonna go see Broadway. I'm gonna go to Broadway in February. But even that,
what play are you
I
seeing?
don't even know yet. I still have to look at it. All I know is I'm going. I wanted to go see the Nutcracker, but
let's talk about Ariana Grande, pop star going Broadway. I'm like, it's amazing how your black scent is not there anymore.
God, y'all are not letting up.
Because it's really bad with Ariana. I'm like, I get it. You're method acting. I'm a method actor. I get it.
The method acting is just copying the personality.
But I'm like, you full on then were method acting as a black rapper.
And you know who it was?
Who sang pop music.
And you know who it was?
Who?
It was Victoria Monet.
Of course it was.
And Victoria Monet used to write her music. Her and Victoria, I think they're still friends, but they used to be a lot closer. Ariana Grande did it very well.
Yes.
And you don't just wake up one day and do that.
Yeah.
You have to study somebody.
And you know she has some skeletons in her closet. Speaking of Dan Schneider.
No, Jeanette McGurdy was like...
Jeanette McGurdy does not like Ariana Grande.
Jeanette McGurdy was like... Listen, one thing I will give Ariana's mom, but can we give it to parents? Because some parents just leave, they don't care. Like,
well, that's true.
Drake Bell's mother.
Oof.
But Jeanette McCurdy.
Well, a lot of them, it's like they have a sense of entitlement because they're like, my kid's going to be a star and I'm going to live through them.
It's so sad because that's what I keep seeing.
It's gross.
People will be like, well, you think, at least this person's parents were there. But it's like, no, you're just pimping your child out for money.
Exactly.
Might not be sexually, but what is a 12-year-old doing having 16-hour shoot days?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Cha-ching, flying here, flying there. Like, poor Miley. I mean, it's like...
I don't...
I mean, all of them. I feel, of course, the one I don't like is Demi Lovato. I hate Demi Lovato.
Child, but she can sing. Listen.
Can she?
Oh, maybe not anymore.
I mean,
maybe
she'll probably ruin her voice doing all that crack that she does.
I think crack changed it.
I do not. You know my Demi story.
I know you do not like
hate Demi Lovato.
I don't like Demi Lovato either. It's always something going on.
I call her Debbie.
Who did you call Cindy Lou earlier? Jamie Litz.
Oh, Cindy.
You don't like Cindy Lou. I know you don't like Demi Lovato. There's 2 songs that are on my playlist.
Cruel for the Summer is pretty good. Is it Cruel for the Summer or Cool?
It's,
ooh, take me down into
cool.
that song. Okay.
It's cool. So there's 2, like, okay, but Demi, I don't rock with her either.
Did you see the one where she went ghost hunting and she was singing for the ghost and she's like there? I think she was just on drugs. I think she was on drugs with her mental illness combining to make whatever the fuck that was.
A point, but that's what I said. Like, I think, and this is not me disagreeing with you because I said I don't like her either, but my lack of I don't like her is only because she was a child star. I told you.
No,
I'm more lenient with child stars because there was a point
don't remember when she was a child star, she was on tour in South America when she was like 15. And she fucking, on the middle of takeoff on a flight, got up out her seat and beat the shit out of one of her backup dancers. Don't think I forgot that, Demi Lovato.
And now I didn't know this.
Yeah, Google it.
Beat her up?
She beat the shit out of her and was a nasty bitch to her. This is when she was 15. She tried to say that she was cutting herself and that she was exhausted. I'm like, when you're cutting yourself, the violence is torn towards you. That violence was projected outside.
She said, I'm cutting myself, so you're going to feel it.
Yes, and I'm like, you literally, like, I remember the plane was, like, taking off. Like, I remember Wendy, of all people, broke into it because it was, like, back on the radio, and she was talking about it because it was a whole thing because the plane was taking off, and they actually had to land the plane to take the girl out when Demi should have been fucking arrested because she beat the shit out of the backup dancer.
Oh, Lord.
And then she's like, I was binging and purging, and I was, like, she talked about it later in her like, I'm sober documentary.
It's when they asked Rihanna, would you get back with Chris? Like, I don't hold much to Rihanna. I was like,
no.
She's probably done so many drugs, mixed them all together.
And, like, I know what that's
she's
like.
Still there.
I know what that's like to be with someone who's not good for you and still love them. And I think they are always going to be friends. I think they will always fuck occasionally. They're going to be smoking blunts and they're going to be fucking. And
I really think she likes A$AP though.
I think she does too.
I really think she loves that man. Like, I
love Rihanna. I love her.
She loves him. Rihanna wasn't. She's a child star. I think we can call her. Like, I know we were talking about actors and actresses.
She left Barbados at like 15 and was signed with
left, or her parents sold her. Hello.
Well, yeah, allegedly.
All of this is alleged.
It's all alleged.
All of this is alleged.
But then didn't you go sign with what? Jay-Z?
Yeah. Oof. There was an interview early 2000. I don't know if it was Oprah. You know the interview I'm talking about. Was it Tyra Banks?
It probably was.
I don't know who it was asking
the
her.
Oprah interview was where Oprah flew to Barbados to do a live on location for
There's
Oprah's
stuff
next
about
chapel.
Oprah in Durban too.
It does not surprise me.
Okay. Wait, we'll get to that. Let's finish talking about Rihanna. But, you just reminded me of something very dark. Very dark.
Oh.
Like, you just brought it out of the recesses of my mind. But Rihanna said earlier, and Jay-Z always talks about this, but even when they were making Umbrella, you could always see, like, Jay-Z was, like, hovering over her in her
weird.
shadow.
It was
very
weird.
She was a child. She was a minor.
Mm-hmm.
And so even when she won her award for that song, she couldn't even say thank you without him basically, like, anybody who watches body language without him basically saying, well, like,
Yeah, like on her back.
Don't talk, like, don't say this. Like, very controlling, very, like.
It's weird. Oof.
And so I remember she said they were, like, on the 27th floor of, I don't know, Rockefeller Sony building, something. Don't quote me on that. And she said Jay-Z gave her two options. You leave out the door with this contract signed, or you're leaving out the window.
Oof. I believe that 100%.
And it was this whole thing about, like,
I'm waiting TikTok for Jay-Z.
Jay-Z
You know it's coming.
Jay-Z, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Alleged. But allegedly, he's been, do I say having sex? Because she's a minor, but sexually assaulting her.
Yeah.
Since she was a minor.
They were having sexual relations.
That is why you will never find Beyonce and Rihanna doing anything together.
Of course they wouldn't.
Because this carried on into adulthood.
Well, also, I mean, let's talk Beyonce. I mean, I listen to her talk and I feel my brain cells losing.
She was like, she was also taken advantage of by him, but like she has her own skill, a whole.
Because that's why I think
that's a
she's
whole
done with
nother
music. Because
company.
also, I think she was cranking out music, an album after every year, a new album. Because I think she was trying to burn through that fucking contract.
Is this Rihanna or Beyonce?
Rihanna. And I think she was burning through the contract because she's like, I'm done. Because once she got that last album, she hasn't been out since.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think she was just burning
She
through
pivoted in a very smart way.
Yep.
Pivoted
to the beauty industry.
Yeah.
And I think she just was like, I'm locked into this contract. I'm just going to crank out albums. Because some of them, I mean, there's some hits, but there's some of the stuff I'm like, you could have done better. You know, stuff like that. She was cranking it out because Kesha, I feel like, did the same thing, was burning the contract out. Let's release all the albums that we can.
Oh, poor Kesha. I think she's one of the only people that I know early on that was very, and that's part of the reason why she kind of got like side.
Yeah.
Pulled to the side. I'm not going to say blackballed.
How many people are for Dr. Luke? You get Kim Petra Oil, Katy Perry, all that shit. And I'm like, he's not a good dude. Scooter Braun
but she was
is
the only
not.
person that I know that openly spoke about, like, I was abused.
Yes.
And they tried to make her seem like, oh, she's crazy.
And do you know how
she's
many
on
other
drugs,
pop stars came out in like for her and they were,
and then we never heard from them again.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's just so crazy somebody has that much power.
So let's end this.
Okay.
Because we've been talking for like 2 hours.
Okay.
Let's end it with your Oprah Durban tea.
Okay, so
Durban. Okay, for people that don't know, Durban is a city in South Africa. It's on the Indian Ocean. You can find the Real Housewives of Durban.
Yes. Now I'm gonna start this with the story.
Yeah.
When I was younger, not that much younger, 9th, 10th grade, maybe younger, an Oprah documentary came on. My dad was like, "Oh, go ahead and watch it." Right? Oprah opened a boarding school in Durban, a boarding school for girls.
That was rife with some bullshit.
To get into not everybody could just go to this boarding school, and it's not like it was a private boarding school. To get into this boarding school, you had to be selected, and allegedly, and this selection process is you have to, your family has to make under a certain amount of income. So it was for quote unquote impoverished young ladies, young women who don't have access to opportunities, right? And so the documentary painted the school as great. Like, you started a sisterhood, you're with other women, very intelligent, bright young ladies, her whole life ahead of them. Boom. I go do some research. We never hear about the school again. Why? Because it comes out allegedly Oprah was sex trafficking the students.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I can totally see that.
And then she got in some hot water.
Well, I knew there was hot water about it because you don't hear about it. I remember watching the Oprah show and she'd always, I'm gonna spend Christmas and New Year's with my girls. Talking
she would
about,
always refer to them.
Yes,
and
I didn't realize it was in Durban. I thought it was in the Western Cape.
No, it was in Durban specifically.
I could see that because Durban also has like, there's a lot of like weird. There's a lot of organized crime there.
And it was weird because in the it might have been the Western Cape. It was a Durban. No, I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
I think it. Yeah.
But it was weird because it was a whole school of girls, right? But the documentary was focused specifically on a handful of girls. Specifically on these same girls. And you could just chop that up to they can't tell everybody's story, whatever. But specifically on these same amount of girls. And I remember for a specific time, I'm getting this for my girls. I'm spending Christmas with my girls. I'm spending
Loved it. Always shoved it in your face.
Trafficking them.
100%. Oprah is not a good person.
Oh God.
She is not a good person. I do not I love Oprah, but I'm waiting. That she's one of the ones I'm waiting. It's slowly starting to happen. Did you see when she was fighting with Vivica A. Fox?
Yeah.
And then they were on that skyscraper and it was ice cold.
Her and Jay-Z are just smart.
Yeah, they're smart. But I'm like,
really.
Oprah is shady. The whole thing with Iyanla Van Zant, that whole thing, I'm like, that's shady. And you look back, or what is it, A Million Little Fibers? Yeah. If you look at that, I think that is the real Oprah. How she treated that dude for coming on and using the platform to get a bunch of money and called Oprah out. I think that when Oprah was I remember watching that episode. That's the real Oprah.
It's worse because she's a billionaire.
Yeah, she's a billionaire. And the other thing I don't like about her is I always say there's white Oprah and then there's Oprah. And Oprah, I want Oprah to be Black Oprah. I'm tired of she tries to do the Barbara Walters thing all the time. She whitewashes herself. That annoys me. I'm I
think not to me supporting her. I told you that I don't even like her at all. I think being a Black woman trying to get into an industry at a specific time was just impossible.
No, I get why she did it.
But assimilation,
she doesn't need to do it anymore.
But she doesn't need to do it anymore. Exactly.
That's the thing. I'm you don't Tyra does it too. She used to do it too.
The Lord knows what's going on with Tyra, child.
Yeah, but I'm you don't have to be white Oprah. You don't have to be white Tyra.
But this might not even be white Oprah. This might just be Oprah with money.
Oh, please. I see.
This might just be powerful Oprah.
But Oprah still has a little bit of ratchetness to her. I say that with love. But she has a touch to it, and it comes out every so often. You'll see something Gail, her best friend Gail, will do an Instagram live of Oprah making bacon, and Oprah's like, "Girl, you better cook my bacon," and just acting
they would That also started making me look at Gail differently because I didn't know that they were that close.
They were best friends. There's always Kathy Griffin always did a set that and so did Joan Rivers that they were lesbian lovers. I don't think Oprah's gay, but I think Oprah likes to drink. I think she likes some Hennessy. I think
they have never done anything before.
Oh,
allegedly.
Please.
All allegedly.
There's been some pussy licking. Please. Because again, people like that, sex is power. So Oprah would have sex for power.
Oh, they are real close. That's what I'm gonna say. And
it's weird. I mean, who sees Stedman? Please.
But that goes back into what we were talking about. Gail does journalism, quote unquote.
Yeah, she's on
but
CBS.
But if Oprah is her best friend, who's to say?
Exactly.
Who's to say if you don't have the connections, we can make the...
I will say, I do miss some crazy Oprah.
Yeah.
We got a little bit where she was the spokesperson for Weight Watchers. I love bread.
Let me tell you.
Give me the bread. And then a year later, she did special. I've been on Ozempic. I'm bitch, because come on. Come on.
Just things were more unhinged, because there wasn't rules and laws.
I miss the unhingedness.
I will never. Oprah just used to bring on the craziest people.
God.
She just used to say, just bring on the most crazy.
Fucking Tom
and she'll be
Cruise.
when she used to ask the audience, and it'll just be fight. I remember there was
the best episode of Oprah ever is when she interviewed Barbara Streisand in 2003. It was so unhinged.
I'm gonna go watch that.
Kathy Griffin did a stand-up set about it. It is, and you go back and watch the episode, and you're like, "Oh my god!"
I'm gonna go watch it
because it's Oprah and Streisand are just neck and neck in a cockfight. And Barbara made her switch spots. You could tell that pissed Oprah off, and Oprah was just shading her the whole
power play.
Oh yeah, because Barbara's I have Donna Karan make me these ivory monochromatic suits, and I'm wearing one now. And Oprah's and then what is Barbara was and I don't like colors and I don't like orange. And Oprah's well, thank God I didn't wear orange today, girl. It's ghetto Oprah coming out to shade her, and then she would be right back up the whole time fighting like crazy. And Oprah You know, Oprah does not like surprises. She
wants to be her way, kind of like Ellen.
Yes. Oh, don't get me started on Ellen. But so Barbara, like they had Barbara's number one fan, a cancer patient, comes on. You're meeting Barbara, blah, blah, blah. Barbara's pissed because it was a surprise. Goes up, hugs her, leaves lipstick on the thing. And you could tell Oprah's just like, ah. And then Barbara had her paint Oprah's mic white.
Okay, I'm gonna go watch this.
Go watch it, because then Oprah even says, "Where in Chicago did you get a white mic like that to match, the monochromatic white outfit she was wearing?" And Barbara was like, "I have them paint one of yours," and you could see Oprah was pissed. And then I actually noticed.
This is all power plays.
Yes, and then Kathy Griffin in the stand-up set was like, I went on Oprah a few months later, and of course I was on the show talking about plastic surgery. She's like, "I don't care, I'll talk about it." And Kathy was like, during the commercial, Oprah's very guarded, but I did lean over and said, that Barbara interview was amazing. And Kathy was like, out of nowhere, Oprah was like, she painted my mic white.
And
she's still pissed.
I've seen that.
Yes. If I ever meet Oprah, I'm going to say, can I paint the mic white and see what, because I know.
You're going to get assassinated.
I know it's still a thorn in her fat ass.
Oh, gosh. Well, Ozempic now.
Well, I loved it. I love bread. I'm on Ozempic. I'm skinny. I'm like, bitch, shut the fuck up.
Ozempic, like the way it was Mindy Kaling that really brought it out. Mindy Kaling was like,
Mindy Kaling.
But me too.
I hate her.
And Mindy Kaling was like, I call all my friends together and we have Ozempic shot parties for 2 hours.
God.
We just do Ozempic for 2 hours.
Ooh.
And it's like, people need this diabetic medication.
Yes,
and celebrities
I'd
are
get
just
on it.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't.
I mean,
the FDA just approved it, didn't they?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't, but it's just like for Mindy Kaling to just be like, yeah, we just have Ozempic parties, and it's like somebody's mother can't get their
There's
medication.
a diabetic that can't get her insulin.
Fucking
Oprah. I remember watching it where she wheeled out like a wagon of fat. Oprah has always, and like, Oprah just has a personality. She's a bigger woman. She needs to just be big.
There's trauma in that. Yeah.
Yeah, like there's just something about Oprah where I'm like,
and when you notice it, when you start seeing you can't unsee it.
Because I'm like, Oprah, like you're meant to be a bigger person. Like just own it.
And it's not necessarily to say bigger is fat.
No, it's not.
I think with this world of like everybody just wants to be skinny, some of you guys don't look good skinny.
Yes, don't like. And
I don't mean to attack your listeners.
Like you are a bigger than life person. You need to be a bigger person.
You can still be big and healthy.
Yes,
I feel like big doesn't equate to fat.
Yes, I'm like like I used to say like I love big fat Oprah, and I kind of changed it now with the PC culture because it's not cool to say that. But like Oprah needs to be healthy, but you're a bigger person. I don't want skinny Oprah.
But skinniness, I don't know, it assimilates to like money.
And then when Oprah was big, she would wear like the turtlenecks up to her fucking neck, and then she would wear like baggy like bell bottoms with these like pointy Christian Louboutin shoes popping out.
Oh my gosh, Derek, you're making me go on a man. I'm gonna go back.
It's the best. I'm telling you, I'll have you on again. We talked literally like we're going on like 2 hours,
and we can still go, but like let's wrap up.
Let's wrap up. So where can we find you? Where can we?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I just deactivated all my social media.
Good,
the TikTok ban made me so angry that I was just like, Mark Zuckerberg can suck it.
Well, yes, he can.
I was like, Mark Zuckerberg can suck it.
So you delete all of it?
No, literally.
Well, you're a private citizen then.
I am. I like to be, but for the few days TikTok is left, I am on TikTok.
Yeah.
My ad is I know my ad. Oh my god, it's Eva is focused. Thank you. I was like, wait, what is my ad?
We need to get you like influencing. I want to see you do like style influencing. You have that superstar quality to you.
I appreciate you.
I've said that from the very beginning. I was like, you have that star quality. You dress well.
I appreciate
you. Carry yourself well.
Thank you.
You're photogenic.
Thank you.
We need to get you like taking the photos.
The only thing with that, I don't know. Maybe this is like me. This is like me opening up to you. The only thing with that is like I was bullied growing up, and so this is what I say, like I am big, right? But I was bigger, but I was not fat because I was an athlete. So I had abs, but I was just bigger. I was just bigger than everybody else.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. You're muscular like me. You're athletic.
South Africans are just small. Yeah. Come to find out, South Africans are just small people. But I was just bigger. But like, I had abs. I had muscles. Like, if I show you my legs now, you'd be like, wow.
No, you're athletic.
Yeah. So I was just athletic, but I just in my head, it was probably some form of body dysmorphia. Like, I just need to get skinny.
Well, let's have an Ozempic party.
Might as well call Mindy Kaling, ask her who's her supplier.
Well, with that, guys, I will peace out. Evita will be back on.
I definitely will.
Yeah, we got more to talk about.
So much more.
All right, peace out, guys.
Bye.